daily Bible reading and devotional for April 5th. Our reading today is found from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 9, verses 1 through 17. And he called the 12 together and gave them power and authority over all demons to cure diseases. And he sent them out to proclaim the kingdom of God and to heal. And he said to them, "Take nothing for your journey, no staff, nor bag, nor bread, nor money, and do not have 2 tunics. And wherever you enter, stay there, and from there depart. And wherever they do not receive you, when you leave that town, shake off the dust from your feet as a testimony against them." And they departed and went through the villages, preaching the gospel and healing everywhere. Now Herod the Tetrarch heard about all that was happening, and he was perplexed, because it was said by some that John had been raised from the dead, by some that Elijah had appeared, and by others that one of the prophets of old had arisen. Herod said, "John I beheaded, but who is this about whom I hear such things?" And he sought to see him. On their return, the apostles told him all they had done, and he took them and withdrew apart to a town called Bethsaida. When the crowds learned it, they followed him and welcomed them, and spoke to them of the kingdom of God, and cured those who had need of healing. Now the day began to wear away, and the 12 came and said to him, "Send the crowd away to go into the surrounding villages and countryside to find lodging and get provisions, for we are here in a desolate place." But he said to them, "You give them something to eat." They said, "We have no more than 5 loaves and 2 fishes, unless we are to go and buy food for all these people." For there were about 5,000 men. And he said to the disciples, "Have them sit down in groups of about 50 each." And they did so, and had them all sit down. And taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and said a blessing over them. Then he broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples to set before the crowd. And they ate all and were satisfied. And what was left over was picked up, 12 baskets of broken pieces. Our devotional thoughts for today. With the advent of 24-hour news, the internet, and multimedia cell phones, events of the world reach us at blinding speeds. It seems that some things pique our interest, like a train wreck that we just can't take our eyes off of. We are drawn to exciting and unusual events. This is hardly a 21st century phenomenon. It is the unusual and the freakish that many of the traveling shows built their reputations upon in days gone by. But it is not the freakish that draws the crowds. Sometimes it is just the newness of that attraction. As Luke's gospel continues, we find Herod's interest in seeing Jesus continue, and we will discover what it is that Herod truly desires. In Luke 13:31, just at that time, some Pharisees approached, saying, "Go away, leave here, for Herod wants to kill you." And in Luke 23:8, "Now Herod was very glad when he saw Jesus, for he had wanted to see him for a long time, because he had been hearing about him and was hoping to see some sign performed by him." We're not sure if what Jesus was told about the Pharisees was correct, or if it was just a ploy to scare him. One thing that most certainly would be true is Herod's desire to see a miracle performed. It is hard to know the reasoning behind all who came to Jesus. It's true that many came for the healing that they so desperately sought and needed. It would not be out of the realm of possibilities, though, to think that some came for the show. Some may have come simply for the free meal, as on several occasions Jesus did multiply food to feed the thousands that followed. For all the excitement and hoopla that many sought out in this traveling band of disciples, what Jesus sought from men and women alike was not the attraction of the unusual. It was the sincerity of hearts and the deep abiding faith. The sad truth of the matter is that without the excitement of the miracles, perhaps few would have followed the Son of God. Yet it is the truth which he taught which should be the genuine attraction. One wonders how many would be in attendance in today's congregations if it were not for the excitement and expectation of the unusual. Believer, is it the smooth, polished talk of the preacher or the entertainment value of the music or theatrics that holds you in the pew? Is it more about the service than he that is served? These are the same questions each one of us must ask. Question of the day. What do you think, based on the Bible passages about Herod, what was it that Herod sought in Jesus? And a thought to meditate on this day. Consider the externals versus the internals of worship, and ask yourself if your attendance would be affected by one or the other if they were changed. This is our Bible reading and devotional thoughts for today, April